Good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Madden, your lead commentator for this evening, and on a brand new channel. Formula Racing League TV 2 is the channel, and welcome to Austin, Texas for Week 4, Season 10 of the FRL Taco Tuesday series. But we are in Tier 2 tonight. Now, I'm delighted to have alongside me someone new in the commentary box today, my co-commentator Luke Taylor. Good evening, Luke.
Good evening, Sean. I'm happy to be here and witness this FRL Tier 2 Taco Tuesday race alongside you.
Absolutely delighted to have you too, Luke. So yes, today, guys, for the very first time, we are introducing the Tier 2 drivers of Taco Tuesday, where I'm sure it'll be equally as exciting as what I normally would do on Tier 1 for the Circuit of the Americas. Luke, can you give us all the info and details on tonight's race, please?
Of course, Sean. No problem. Right, first of all, the drivers have had 1 hour practice, and we are leading into a 15-minute qualifying, and the race itself will be a 1 hour endurance race. The race itself has a mandatory pit stop, refueling is allowed, and the pit window will be from 1 minute into the race until the 59th and last minute of the 1 hour allotted time. Points from first down to 20th, down to 30th, sorry, go from 40 down to 1 in descending order.
Thank you, Luke. So let's have a look at the driver. Let's have a look at the driver standings after 3 weeks in Tier 2. So let's get the screen up. So in Tier 2 then, guys, currently leading the pole at the moment is Francisco Souza with 2 wins out of 3 races he has got to his name with 116 points. Then in second position, we've got Mikowski with 110 points with 3 podiums. Then in third position, we've got Jay Wazza, who is the only other driver to pick up a race win. He has got 106 points. Then in fourth position, we've got Michael Clark with 84 points. Then in P5, we've got Dan Naisbitt with 79 points. Jack Prentice is in the top 6 with 77 points. Then we've got Andy Craven in 7th position with 72 points. Liam O'Neill occupies 8th position with 70 points. Then we've got Ed Sterling in P9 with 66 points. Rounding up the top 10, we've got Cameron Blair with 56 points.
Fantastic. And to move on to the next 10, we have Atty Clarison in 11th. In 12th, we have Alan Palmer. 13th, we have Maximilian Monweg. 14th, we have Yuri Zabarovny. 15th, we have Paul Trotman. 16th, we have Danny McCutcheon. 17th, we have Nano George. 18th, we had Edgar Monroy. And 19th, we have Alexander Kalgluin. And 20th, we have Elizabeth Eaton Hadley.
Thank you, Luke. Right, so... Okay, so thank you, Luke, for that. So can you explain everything we need to know when it comes to the Circuit of the America? All the facts and figures, please.
So, of course, not a problem. For the Circuit of the Americas, which is obviously known as COTA, it is a track primarily designed by Herman Tilke. It covers approximately 3.4 miles, which is 5.48 kilometers approximately, with inspiration taken from other world-leading tracks like Silverstone, with Section 1, Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel inspiring turns 3 through 9, which are fast-flowing, challenging and hard to pass. The track later opens up with longer straights, opportunities for close racing, side-by-side action and overtaking potential through heavy braking corners such as turn 12 and then again to turn 1. and then again into the new lap after the pit straight into turn 2, where the madness kicks off again.
Sounds really good, Luke. So basically, I've got a track guide to show you guys. I've spent countless hours trying to put together some sort of lap time around this tricky and very technical circuit here at COTA. Believe me, I was tearing my hair out trying to keep the car on the circuit, and of course, without cutting the track limits, which is very, very easy to do. But in this guide, we are using the McLaren 720S Evo car, so please do enjoy this lap guide at COTA. So just starting a fresh lap here as we come across the start-finish line. We go up the hill to this heavy braking zone, and we are braking on the 100 board, and we want to brake in a straight line, hard on the brakes, down into first gear. As we coast the car over to the left hand side, don't touch the brake or the accelerate, because that will make you lose control of the car. Just literally coast it into the corner, get a good exit, and it's full throttle through this right hand kink. And as we go through, the S is for turns 3 to 9. It is completely flat on the left hand side there, then over to the right hand side, off the accelerator, a little dab of the brake as we go to the left hand side, back over to the right hand side, and we want to balance the throttle, try and keep the car over to the right hand side, clip the apex, because that will set you up for this left hander where we will need to go over the curb, off the accelerator, and then smooth back on the accelerator before a little dab of the brakes again, down into second gear for the right hander here. Again, stay over to the right hand side, because that will set you up for the next left hander as we go over the curb, and keep it smooth on the throttle again, because the car does get very unstable. Then over the left hand kink there for this heavy braking zone for the second hairpin at turn 11. We're braking on the 100-yard board, and it's again down into first gear, and we want to be coasting the car as we swing the car over to the left hand side, over the curb, and then slowly back on the accelerator. And it's a very long straight down here, so we're going to be hitting speeds of roughly about 160 miles an hour before getting hard on the brakes for the heavy braking zone. We are looking for the red hut or the 150 board on the right hand side, but we're actually braking just afterwards, so hard on the brakes again in a straight line, and then as we throw the car over to the left hand side, over the curb, again coast it over the curb before getting on the acceleration. So then up into third gear for the U-bend, turns 13, 14, 15. We are looking for the the end of the grass verge on the right hand side, down into first gear, and you need to be very careful on the throttle as you turn the car to the right, because again the rear will want to step out, and then as we approach this double left-hander, the left-hand kink is our braking zone for this next left-hander. Again, coast it around the corner. The car should turn in and rotate nicely, and then it accelerates out of the exit. Now for this triple right-hander, the first two right-handers, you're just coasting and sort of balancing the throttle. For the third right-hander, we are full throttle. Now the braking point for this one is between the two arrows displayed there on the right hand side, down to third. Turn the car in early over the curb. You can extend the track limits slightly on that bend, but then the braking for the final corner at turn 20 is that concrete patch on the right hand side, down into second gear, clip the apex and get a good exit out of this final turn. And that is a lap time around COTA. We do hit a 2 minutes 8.1, and I was very happy because I'm quite new to the game and not previously been on this circuit before, so extremely happy with that lap time, but that was in perfect conditions, of course. So we now get on board with the drivers. We did start the broadcast slightly late, so there is 6 minutes remaining in qualifying. Luke, can you actually
I can see the feed of the what you have on Twitch.
Yes, of course, Luke. Sorry, just completely forgot. So we have got slight technicals at the moment. Unfortunately, my co-commentator wasn't able to actually connect into the servers. So the only view he's got is of me streaming. So just bear with me 1 second, guys. Right, there we go. I've got chat open. Yeah, we've got technicals at the moment, guys, and unfortunately, it obviously we'll try and get Luke involved, but unfortunately, he can only see what I can see. So yeah, my apologies on that one. But Milden, welcome. How you doing, Rob G Barker? Is it Zuku as well? Welcome. Yeah, unfortunately, in terms of the driver lineup, very disappointing. We've only got 20 drivers on circuit, and yeah, we was hoping to have roughly about 25, but it seems like quite a lot of drivers rejected doing this race. I know it's a very tricky circuit, but even so. Yeah, just not a good turnout tonight.
Well, it is a bit of a tricky circuit for some. Well, maybe they'll be in for the next one, which will be at Donington.
Indeed. I mean, I have to say, I'm really looking forward to Donington, back in the UK, and it should be an absolute fantastic spectacle. We hope to have a better turnout for that race. But of course, tonight, guys, we are at Circuit of the Americas. We do still have 20 drivers. In fact, we've got 21 drivers, guys. So let's just quickly go down the list now. So yeah, we do actually have 21 drivers. Currently, at the moment, on pole position, we have Michael Clark, 208.1. Let's put on the appropriate camera there. So you're on board with the number 23 BMW. And he's just going around the hairpin there, approaching turn 13. We'll see if he can improve. Just see who else we've got on board as well. So we got 71 coming up to the line now. So that is Jorge, I think is how you pronounce his name. So just coming across the start-finish line. Can he improve on his previous best? No, he can't. Car number 442. 442, that is Morn Veg. He has come across the line with a 209.6. So up into P11 for him.
It's worth saying that we have the top 9 separated by less than a second, so, and the top 3 themselves less than 2/10. The top 4 now, so it's pretty close at the top.
Well, Sterling just gone up into P3 with the exact same split as Danny McCutcheon in P2, just over a 10th behind Michael Clark on pole position, so that'll be a 208.22, isn't it, basically? So what else have we got? 32.
Pretty close at the top, and then the rest of the mid pack all pretty close together too. So we're in for some good racing if they maintain this pace.
Yeah, 100%. We're on board with Craven. Doesn't go better, doesn't improve his lap time. Then we've got car number 18 just about to come across the line. That is Spanu, currently in P15, 2.4 seconds down on pole. Doesn't improve, may have cut track limits on that lap. So time invalidated, I think. 778. Is Danny McCutcheon. He'll be the next one to come across the line. We have got 2 minutes left of qualifying to go. So if the guys are going to improve, they must do it within the next lap. So Danny McCutcheon just approaching the final turn. Can he improve on his 208.2? No, he doesn't. For now, he doesn't. So We've also got number 71 and 442 coming across the line. I think we'll go on board with Mornveg.
We have from the chat a question. Who was your favourite to get pole position? At the moment, I'd have to say the BMWs and the Ferraris are all looking very strong and all in with a chance at the moment.
It's looking that way at the moment, Luke, definitely. Mornveg just improved on his lap time and goes up into the top 10 now. So fantastic work there from Mornveg.
Very respectable.
And then who else have we got? Very hard to see on my screen. That's probably my eyesight though. We got Blair. No, Blair doesn't improve and pull to the side as well. So there will be one more lap depending on where they are on the circuit. We have got car number 3, which is Craven, just getting past the penultimate corner, coming up to the last corner. Can he improve on his 208.2? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So Clark still on pole position at the moment. Can anyone beat Clark's time of a 208.1? Car 18 is Spanu. Doesn't improve either. 778. It will be the next one. So Danny McCutcheon is the next car. Now he's the man closest to Clark as qualifying ends as well.
Yeah, this is the final lap. The timer is over. It's going to make it count coming through the last 2 left-handers.
Oh no, he slows down, so wasn't going to improve clearly. So
Lap aborted.
Lap aborted, that is correct, Luke. Car 242 then. Pretty sure that's Naisbitt. So Naisbitt on a full charge. Now I can't quite see what his actual lap time is so far, but he is pushing. So yeah, just nice line out of the penultimate corner. Naisbitt 9.5 tenths down on pole position. Can he improve? Yes, he does. So 8 tenths behind the pole position time with a P8. So moves up a position. Well done to Naisbitt. I think it's Sterling. I think it's coming across the line. No, doesn't improve. Car 3, 2, 1.
Looks like they're all maxing out their potential speeds.
Sousa.
And currently have the top 9 within a second of each other.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, very, very close qualifying here at COTA. There is literally a second separating the top 9 drivers, so fantastic to see, of course. And I think that is it for qualifying. I think there is one more car out on track, and that is car number 18. That is Spanu. Didn't have much luck in the previous 2 or 3 laps that we was on board with him on. So just coming across the just going past the penultimate corner, approaching the final corner. Come on, Spanu, can he improve on his 210? Yes, he does. Up into P12, 1.6 seconds down, so that would be a 209.7, I believe.
Cracking improvement there at the last minute there, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Leaving it to the death, of course. So let's just give you the classified results of qualifying. So Michael Clark will start on pole position in that BMW M4, 208.107. With Danny McCutcheon in P2 in the Ferrari, 208.2. Same split time as Sterling in the BMW with 208.217. Then we've got Craven in P4, 208.247. Jay Wazza in P5, 208.395. Then we got Makowski in P6 with a 208.567. Sousa in P7, 208.772. Then Naisbitt with a 208.940. Then we got Prentice in P9, 209.037. And then rounding up the top 10 is Mornveg with a 209.537. Then we got Blair in P11, Sparner in P12, Trotman in P13, Townsend in P14, Elizabeth Eaton Hadley in P15. Then we've got Van der Waal in P16, Van Uffel, someone that I've not come across so far, in P17, with Jorge in P18, another driver I don't recognise. Then we got Palmer in P19. Then we got Strozinski. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hopefully I didn't completely butcher his surname there, but he's in the top 20. And then we got Callaghan, who is at the back of the grid. And in fact, P20 and 21 didn't actually produce a lap time there.
Well, I think that's a good effort from all there, and it's worth saying the top three, each strong. Each of the top three sitting a purple sector in different sectors. So we have a lot of potential for the podium spots and all the way throughout the grid.
Yes, extremely close at the top there. I mean, nothing really to call. Yeah, it is that tight, and it should be a very exciting race ahead of us. It is a 60-minute race tonight, guys, with pretty much perfect track conditions. Ambient temperature is 36, track conditions with 38 degrees, so pretty much perfect racing conditions, Luke.
I would agree. A bit hot for me, but at the end of the day, we're going to have some interesting action, and we'll see what the weather does to the tyre life, and see what it does to the strategy.
Well, let's be honest though, Luke. Anything's hot for us Brits, though, isn't it?
Right.
Especially the weather we have in the UK. It's just completely miserable and cold. Although I quite like it, but yeah, very hot out in Austin, Texas, as we wait for the countdown for the formation lap. On the first row, we have Clark and McCutcheon. Second row is Sterling and Craven. Then we've got Wazza and Makowski on row 3. Souza and Naisbitt on row 4. Prentice and Mornveg on row 5. So it is BMW against Ferrari against BMW against Ferrari. So a little bit of a pattern there.
It does seem to be a little bit 2x2, and well, it's going to be interesting for the race when we all get going and getting down into turn 1, where it's all going to tighten up. See who goes in first. Well, it comes out first to turn 1 and through the twisty bits.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I commentated on the Super Sprint Sunday, and there was a lot of carnage in race 1. So the drivers do need to be a little bit wary of the twisty section between turn 3 and 9. That was where a lot of the accidents occurred. So, bear in mind that it is a 1-hour race. Maybe drivers not to, be a hero on lap 1, just maybe take it a little bit more easier and settle into the race, I think.
I would agree with you on that, Sean. It is largely a single file way through there, but we're going to see what happens. I imagine there's going to be a few people trying a risky move, but hopefully they all come out with all of their bodywork attached.
Let's hope so. Law, welcome to the stream. Absolute pleasure to have you in here. We'll try a clean turn 1 this time. Let's hope so. Oh, I'm clicked on the wrong channel. I've been reading the wrong channel all this time. I think. I have been reading the wrong channel all this time, Luke. Oh my God, guys, I do apologise. Kai, Pedro, Dazza, Sarah Hawkey, welcome in, guys, and Little Mac, thank you so much for the follow as well. Much appreciated. Do you know what? There is so many different FRL channels with pretty much the same title. We've been rushing off our feet trying to, firstly try to get Luke to be able to join, which was a bit unsuccessful, to be honest. So it is me just kind of spectating with Luke, trying his very best to mop up anything that I missed. Maybe, obviously I've got this camera view, but yeah, with the actual time boards, he might see something that I should be concentrating on. Yeah, it's extremely difficult work tonight, unfortunately. Let's put the proper aerial view in there. So if I miss anything at the start, you might be able to capitalise, Luke. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, there's a slight delay for you, isn't it? So,
yeah, I can see what you can see, sort of, and we'll make the best of it and try and make it's a 1 hour race, and we'll go from there. What
I will say to you is good luck to you in this race. Law probably didn't hear me when I called him out. but yeah, Pedro, you're both doing a great job so far. I'm really enjoying the commentary. Pedro, really appreciate that, mate. Obviously, a brand new channel. This is the Formula Racing League TV2 channel. So, yeah, it's new beginnings as I see a floating BMW right now. Definitely.
Always interesting to see.
Yeah.
A little bit of illegal tech there.
Definitely looks like it. So,
we're playing Pod Racer.
For sure, mate. For sure. Yeah, it's all things have been happening tonight, which is not ideal preparation, of course, but it's all part of the fun and games, I suppose. Thank you so much for the follow as well. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for supporting FRL. I know obviously was a part of FRL, but obviously means a lot to a brand new channel. You're the 20th follower as well, so thank you. So yeah, we are just awaiting the drivers to complete their formation lap. 1 hour race, of course. They're down the straight. This is not the best view, is it? I have to say. It looks like all the cars are floating, definitely Rocket League or Wipeout or something like that. But, yeah, that's not good, is it? We're going to have to change that, I think.
I think we're going to have to try close up there, Sean.
Yeah. Is there a better... See, that one is... No, that one's not really better. So it'll have to be that. Let's put on that as well. Okay, alright, it actually looks like as if they are on the surface, but of course not ideal because I would like to see the aerial so I can see more of the cars, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll make the best of it and hopefully we can give a good show while doing it. As the cars are coming around to finish the parade lap, we're looking forward to some real action going into the first sector. Hopefully a bit of good, clean racing fun.
That is the hope, Luke. That is definitely the hope. So we will see what happens here. We will maybe change it on Danny McCutcheon as well as the cars start to line up side by side as we just approach the final corner and await the green light. So this is week 4, Taco Tuesday, Tier 2. Let's see how we get on here.
All the drivers lining up side by side, waiting for that green light. And the anticipation builds as the driver wants to put the throttle down.
Indeed. Oh, what's that car doing?
I think someone's missed the grid slot.
Maybe. The green lights and away we go. We're coming up to turn 1 and it looks like Clark gets a fantastic start, but McCutcheon is shoved out wide. I think that's Sterling that goes up into B2 and as we await the leaderboard to change, because it seems like it's not updating at the moment. Yeah. But it is Clark that gets away first and is in pole position. Still waiting for it to update. It's kind of messed up at the moment. Where is Clark? There is Clark. So yeah,
leaderboard's having the same trouble we're having, trying to keep hold of it all.
yes. So Clark is in the lead at the moment. Then we've got Sterling just behind. Then it's Wazza in P3 with Danny McCutcheon demoted down into P4. So yeah, he was shoved out wide. I didn't quite see who shoved him out wide. It was a little bit messy at the start, but cars are starting to settle in now with a very close battle and a train of cars really between pole position and down into about 10 positions, I'd say. So yeah, fantastic race so far. But yeah, Clark has the lead at the moment. Sterling and was a side by side, but Sterling will have the. In fact, Sterling has got the outside line. I thought Wazza was going to go side by side through the sequence of corners, but Sterling gets a better line out. Wazza will have to tuck in P3. Then we've got McCutcheon just behind in P4, and Naisbitt also getting a good start into P5.
Naisbitt up from P8, of course, and we've had a couple of movers and a couple of drops from a few people, I'm afraid, through that turn 1 fast section, but it looks like it's all settling down now.
Yes, indeed. Although we have got battles all over the track, of course. Craven in P6, Souza just behind in P7. Then there is a little bit of a gap. I say it's a little bit of a gap because it's like 6-7 tenths down. But yes, you can see the battle brewing up here as we see. We saw a few side by side. I can't work out who it was. Oh, that is Spanu, I think, got around Mornveg, who was pretty slow into the apex of the corner. So I think Spanu is up into P9. So that's a great move from Spanu, I believe.
Up from P12 on the grid, 2 places up, doing very well. It's worth saying that Townsend has gone up from P14 all up to P8, so 6th place jump on lap 1.
Wow, fantastic from Dazza Townsend then. Fantastic start from him, as alluded to from Luke. So let's see if he can keep up with the good work. But yeah, we do still need to remain on the top 5 because it's still very close, although Clark has pulled a little bit of a gap to Sterling. So perhaps Sterling and Wazza were fighting for P2 there. But yeah, McCutcheon in close proximity as well, 8 tenths behind Wazza in P4. Naisbitt a further 8 tenths behind McCutcheon in P5.
Doing the proverbial Max Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel in the Red Bull and bolting on lap 1, trying to get the gap to get a bit of breathing space.
So just trying to find where we are on this. Oh my god, nearly contact between Mornveg and Townsend. Nearly had his bumper cut off there. Townsend defending from Mornveg, doing an excellent job so far. But he's got to be a bit wary of that because it looked like Mornveg was taking a tighter line as Townsend sort of sweeps through. They nearly come to blows there, but so far so good. Townsend with enough of a gap should peel away, or at least be able to defend from Mornveg before we get. Oh my god, there's contact in the background. There is contact. I don't know who that was. It was a grey McLaren. I think it was Callaghan. Took the corner all sorts of wrong now. In fact, I think it's Prentice. No, it isn't. It is Stroz. No, it's not him. I'm struggling to see who that was there, but
2 below Prentice, I think.
That is him there. It was Van der Voort. No, it's Van der Voort. Van der Voort was the one that hit the wall there. You can see the damage on his car. But yeah, it looked like he took the wrong line into the final corner and clattered into the wall. That is not going to help his cause, of course.
Right. Van der Voort found the wall, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So there is definitely a gap now between Clark and Sterling. Then it's saying 2.4 seconds, although we're just coming. It's 2.5 seconds. So quite a gap now. Wazza with a close battle with Sterling for that P2, and then McCutcheon is a little bit further behind, but still, in pretty close proximity though. It is definitely the top 6 that are peeling away from the rest of the field, because there is a 6.2 second gap from Craven to Makowski. So definitely can't take our eyes off of the top 6 right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sean, and particularly quite a few of these drivers are almost nose to tail. You can take different lines through this final sector to try and open up the corner and get a good exit on your opponent, but at the moment it seems like they're not making any mistakes. They're all settling in for the long run and just moving away from the rest of the pack.
Yes, indeed, Luke. I will have a look a little bit further down, because actually it looks like it's Townsend and is it Souza side by side? It is Souza. Yes, Souza up the inside of Souza. Souza up the inside of Townsend. My apologies. Souza up into P9, Townsend into P10. It's a great move up the inside. Townsend did give him the space though, but nevertheless, clean overtake, and Souza can now push up the field.
Looks like Souza is recovering, probably one of those drivers pushed out on the first corner of the first lap, as Souza qualified in P7. So moving up from P10, looks like that is a bit of a recovery drive at the moment, Sean.
Yeah, he might have been one of the drivers that was pushed aside with McCutcheon, as we've got 2 drivers side by side now. I think that is Ethan Hadley on Townsend. Indeed it is. So Ethan Hadley stuck her nose up the inside, couldn't get the move done, so we'll wait her turn. The only female driver, by the way, in this field, but wait her turn to maybe make a move in the next braking zone on Townsend. Townsend will need to be very wary of her, of course.
Of course. Unfortunately, she got a little bit of poor traction coming out the previous turn, and that's not what you want to be doing going on to this back straight. You want to be right on the bumper of the car in front, and unfortunately, Elizabeth didn't get the traction she needed. And unfortunately, from here, it is very much follow the other driver. If you can be a bit cheeky, stick it down the inside, but in saying that, Elizabeth
had a good couple of corners, or better corners than Dazza there, so definitely keeping the pressure up. And Townsend, one wrong move, and Ethan Hadley surely will grab that position away from him, so we definitely have to keep an eye on this battle.
I agree. It looks like it's a battle on track at the moment. If you could just stay under the rear wing of Townsend, then it will be moving up another place.
Indeed. Let's have a look on the dashboard now. So just started lap 5. We're approaching turn 1. Hard on the brakes. Gets it stopped nicely. And to be fair, it was a good turn 1 for both drivers, but Ethan Hadley all over the back of Townsend right now, looking to put all sorts of pressure in. Oh my God, nearly contact. Ethan Hadley had to slam on the brakes and really just move out the way, because it looked like there would have been contact between the pair of them, but evasive action there from Elizabeth, so did really well to get out of the way.
I agree. It looks like she's far more confident at this point of the race and is absolutely hounding Townsend. I think it's just a matter of time before she's up into P10.
Yeah, 100% agree. She gets a great exit out of the hairpin there. With down the straight, she's going to have the slipstream of Townsend, both in the BMW, but she's... Oh my God, that was quite close there. But up the inside she goes, and surely Ethan Hadley, if she gets the car stopped for the hairpin, that position will be hers, and that is a fantastic overtake there into P10. Yes, well, in the this kind of U-bend section of the track very difficult to pass on. So as long as Elizabeth gets a good line out of here, which she does, should be able to fend off Townsend. But yes, Townsend will not give up without a fight, of course.
Quite right. He'll now be thinking, where can I improve my technique and try and get back on the end, back into the top 10, and we'll move back up into a more substantial points position. Elizabeth herself will be thinking only 5.7 seconds to the driver in front. Will want to be moving forwards.
Indeed. I'm just going to have a look around the field at the moment because I can see Spanu, who is within a second of Trotman in P12 and P13 respectively. Just approaching turn 1 of lap 6. So oh my God, Spani goes a little bit sideways, a little bit squirrely, but keeps hold of the car more importantly. The gap is pretty much the same as we go through the fake Maggots and Beckett's.
Worth saying that there's another battle on track for P1. Sterling's close up on Clark. Also worth saying that Prentice and Van der Waal have definitely pitted to possibly repair damage, so they have had the mandatory pit stop.
Indeed, Luke. We're on board with Sterling now. Yes, he has closed that gap, so maybe Clark may have made a mistake somewhere because I believe it was about 3 seconds the gap a couple of laps ago, so maybe a combination of Sterling putting in some really good times and Clark making a mistake has reduced that deficit to under a second.
Absolutely, Sean. And it looks like he's possibly bringing Wazza with him. He's only 1 second behind, so the top 3 barely separated by 2 seconds. Very tight line there from Sterling in the triple right-hander there. It seems to be working.
Yes, indeed. Different technique, perhaps. Maybe he's found his rhythm again. It looks like he is extending that lead at the moment. So we'll go through the field. I think Craven. Oh my God, yes, Craven all over the back of Naisbitt then. So as we start lap 7, Craven in P6, Naisbitt in P5 is all over the back of him as we approach turn 1. They both get it stopped nicely, but yeah, Craven is going to be very big in Naisbitt's mirrors right now, putting all sorts of pressure on him. He will need to withstand the pressure right now, although Naisbitt actually not too far behind McCutcheon, so we've got a nice little battle for P4 brewing at the moment, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the battle on track. We have Craven, who started ahead of this lot in P4. I think he was one of the ones that were pushed out. Naisbitt has come through from P8, so he's higher than what he started. And McCutcheon obviously started P2, so we've got all these drivers out of position compared to the starting grid. So
nearly contact between Craven and Naisbitt. It looked like Naisbitt got on the brakes earlier than Craven, and that gap has extended now because Naisbitt did go a little bit wide and not the correct braking for that turn. So Naisbitt actually not too far behind McCutcheon as we approach hairpin 2.
Woz is on the back of Sterling as well.
Oh, yes, good spot there, Luke, as well. Good spot, yeah. So, Wazza 3 tenths behind Sterling. So, we have got...
second to Clark.
Yes, indeed. So, Clark has extended that lead, but Sterling under all sorts of pressure from Wazza in P3. So, we have got 2 battles on... Well, in fact, we've got 3 battles on circuit because Souza, and maybe Souza, has got around... Oh, there we go. They are side by side.
That's complete.
So Souza tries the undercut there. He's going to have the outside line, though, for these triple right-handers. So Makowski takes the inside line. Souza will... Makowski goes wide out of that turn, though. That will be a warning for track limits.
Pressure is on for Makowski. Souza off the track as well.
Yeah, both of them will be getting warnings there. But yeah, this is a very exciting battle between P7 and P8 as we come across the line to start lap 9. No, sorry, lap
slipstream.
8 in the slipstream. Souza on the inside.
Down into turn 1.
Sorry, Moornweg, isn't it? It's Moornweg, sorry, my apologies. So, yeah.
So Moornweg moving back through to P8, taking Souza.
Yes, my apologies there, guys. Got a little bit confused on the leaderboard. So, yeah, it was... or was it? I'm waiting for...
I think it was Moornweg and Souza.
Okay.
Souza.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. It was... well, I guess I understand why I've got a little bit confused, I guess. Wasn't Mikowski in a battle for P6, was it? Or was it between Danny McCutcheon, Naisbitt and Craven? I've really lost my way here.
Naisbitt and Craven was Sterling and Clark. Sort of a 2-3-way battles in the top 6.
Okay. Thank you. Gets a little bit confusing at times, so my apologies there. But yeah, we are trying to keep on board with the closest battles on track, because there is Naisbitt and McCutcheon. McCutcheon had the inside line, Naisbitt on the outside, can't make the move stick there, of course. But yeah, Naisbitt putting McCutcheon under all sorts of pressure as we go through the triple right-hander. In fact, this is the third of the triple right-hander as we approach the penultimate corner of the lap.
He'll have a job to keep up with McCutcheon through sector 3, because McCutcheon in qualifying was the fastest in this sector. So if it's going to be a pass, I would predict it's going to be either at the end of the back straight into, I think, turn 12, but he's going to have to try and get it done before sector 3.
Yeah, that's well spotted there, Luke. Yeah, good observation. But yeah, Naisbitt closing in on McCutcheon there through the exit of the hairpin. So, yeah, I mean, literally, it only takes one mistake. That was nearly a commentator's curse there. McCutcheon was hard on the brakes through the S's, and Naisbitt had to then slam on the brakes there. It looked like they got very close together, but yeah, at the moment still neck and neck, P4 and P5.
Yeah, only 2 tenths separating the pair, sometimes even less than that. We're not far from sharing paint between cars at this point. It looks like on the rest of the grid, it looks like we still have Townsend and Spanu going for it in P11 and P12. It looks like the top 3 have calmed down a little bit, but we still got Naisbitt and McCutcheon glued together. So still going on throughout the grid.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Naisbitt, a slightly bigger gap than when we was last on them, but still, nevertheless, under a second, so pretty close together. And then just waiting for the leaderboard sort update here, but it looks like we have got a little bit of a battle going on between Townsend and Spanu, and actually Trotman not too far behind as well. So whilst these two battle away, do have to be wary that Trotman is lurking in the background.
Would agree with you, Sean. And looks like they're starting to settle down a little bit, trying to find a bit of rhythm and realising we've still got 40 minutes to go in this race, so still a lot of strategy to play for. All close.
All close, and also Naisbitt with a drive-through penalty for, I believe, cutting the track more than 3 times. That is going to hurt his race.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big, costly, forced error in this case, I would imagine, with Craven on the back of him.
Yes, indeed.
Pressure gets to you sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously alluded to this before, when someone is big in your mirrors and then you've got to contend with tight track limits as well. It's easily done. And yeah, unfortunate for Naisbitt, it was one too many times. So yeah, that will lose him so much time. So he will, take the drive through and still need to pit as well on top of that. Yeah,
that's going to drop him right down the pack. That's the last thing he would have wanted. We have Wazza on the back of Sterling again in P2, P3, so that's hotting up again.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Vozar is 8 tenths down on Sterling at the moment.
It seems to have fallen back since that sector update. Looks like they're all in some sort of rhythm. If one of them has a slow sector, they all bunch up and then spread out again, but still only covered by less than 4 seconds to the top 3.
Indeed, Luke. Ethan Hadley, though, in P9 at the moment, currently 7 tenths down on Morn Veg, doing an excellent job from P9 as we go down the straight. We are approaching turn 11 for the hairpin.
And she's the mover in this race, as far as I'm concerned, up from P15.
Yes, indeed. Just got to say, big thank you to Diz for the follow as well. Really appreciate your company and the follow as well. Welcome to the community. Dogshaft #1 fan. We want Wazza apparently, but yeah, welcome, mate. So Spanu.
Wazza's our favourite.
Yes. So Spanu, in P11 and not too far behind Townsend. So we do need to stay on board with these drivers. But yeah, good to see support for the fellow drivers. And was currently doing an excellent job in P3.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Wazza, who's up from P5 as well, so he's up 2 places on from the grid, and it looks like he's entered a bit of status quo in the top 3, but it's a Naismith. Going back to that drive-through is going to be crucial for the race and going to move probably the next 6 or 7 drivers up a place in this race. So that unfortunate track limits, what we presume penalty is going to put him back roughly where he qualified. He's running higher than where he qualified, so good up until now, I'm afraid.
Yes, but he will be praying that more drivers make mistakes. As alluded to, very easy to make a mistake and cut the track limits because they're very, very tight. With quite a long race, we've got 37 minutes left in this race. It could oh my God, that is a commentator's curse because they both go wide, Spanu and Townsend.
Keep an eye on those track limits.
Let's have a look at the
Spano in the slipstream down the back straight. When you get a move here, late on the brakes potentially.
To be honest, both of them safe as houses in the braking zone there, and Spanu will remain on the back of Townsend.
Good clean racing, Spanu buying his time.
Indeed. I mean, it's it's
looks like Spanu's taken a much wider line, trying to get good traction out of the corner, but somehow Townsend keeps keeping the nose in front.
Indeed, and we can see the sun setting in the background. Track temperature is getting colder, by the way, guys. So it's down to 34 degrees. I mean, that's still pretty sultry in my eyes, but yeah, it is definitely getting cooler. I don't know if this is going to progress into the night or not.
I'm not going to move here.
Yes, Spanu up the inside. Townsend later on the brakes. Has he gone too deep? No, he hasn't. Defends the outside brilliantly and holds on to that P10.
Good, clean racing from the pair there. Giving lots of respect, and we're going into the Silverstone complex, as I like to call it, but it's still so close.
Yeah, fantastic driving from the pair of them. And as you said, very respectful racing, really good to see. Just approaching this sort of long right-hander that turns into the left-hander. And Spiner goes a little bit wide on the exit. That is going to lose him time. That might even give him a warning as well.
Nothing coming up as of yet. Might just get away with that one.
Yeah. Well, they are allowed 3 warnings before they get a drive-through penalty. So really depending on how many warnings he's had prior to that one, I suppose.
Yeah, quite right, Sean. And hopefully all of the drivers on the rest of the field are clear of any warnings. It looks like we have one driver possibly going into the pits.
Yeah, that's Michael Clark going into the pit. Sterling actually did close that gap on him, though. It was down to half a second. So Sterling was definitely a man on the charge. But yeah, Clark decides to pit, which is probably good timing there. Currently sort of halfway into the duration of the race. So pitting just at the right time. We have a new provisional leader in Sterling. Wazza in P2 now, who is 3 seconds down on him. And then McCutcheon will be in P3. We're just waiting for the leaderboards to update there. But quite a gap, though. It's 6 seconds between Wazza and McCutcheon. In fact, it's 9 seconds now. So even further. Craven, on the other hand, less than a second from McCutcheon.
Yeah, obviously they're still glued together. I think it's going to be worth saying with Clark pitting, it's just before the halfway mark, so that's his mandatory pit stop out. And I would posture with heavier fuel loads and hotter temperatures now would be the ideal time to pit and try and get the undercut on Sterling.
Yes, indeed. That could be a strategy that does end off paying off for him. We will see very shortly. But Ethan Hadley was riding on board with him P7. Just made a little bit of a mistake on the right to the left-hander there. I think it's turn 9, I believe. Losing a little bit of ground to Morveg, but doing an excellent job from P7 still.
Absolutely, and as previously stated, up from P15, so far, at this near halfway point, definitely my driver of, this half of the race. And, hopefully can get on the back of Mornweg again and capture another place.
Yes, indeed. We didn't have enough time oh my God, I thought Spanu was late on the brakes and ploughing into the back of Townsend there, but managed to get the car stopped. I think Townsend might have got on the brakes a bit early, which may have caught Spanu out slightly. But that gap is very close between P8 and P9.
Absolutely, we're going to need a crowbar to separate these two at the end of the race. They've been side by side and nose to tail for what seems like all race so far.
Yes, indeed. Evening, Bill. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. I know there was a slight bit of confusion today where late notice found out that we were streaming on a different channel. We've also had a few technical issues where I can't get Luke to actually broadcast or join the spectate mode in the game, so he's actually watching from the view you guys have got and doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Sean, and same for you, buddy. We do our best.
Of course, team effort there, isn't it? Teamwork makes the dream work, isn't it? So but yes, so on board with Spanu at the moment, still close on the back of Townsend as we go through the Maggots and Beckett's style section. And he has closed that gap on him. Actually, Townsend is under all types of pressure. Very important for him to get his braking correct for the next hairpin, because after that is the long straight, and that could be an opportunity for Spanu to make a move on him.
Absolutely, this is the part of the track where we see most of the action, particularly in the F1 and most classes, to be fair, with that just kilometre long straight, a little bit of slipstream and late braking, and just got to spot your braking point and hope you make it.
Yes, indeed. Well, Townsend actually got a good exit out of the hairpin there, so that gap has extended somewhat. But both drivers definitely in their rhythm, and as said earlier, it just takes one mistake.
Absolutely, and they've got a nice gap to Trotman behind, so I would imagine they have somewhat settled down a bit. They haven't been side by side for a while. Maybe maybe the pair of them are maximising their tyre life, trying to get a little bit deeper in the race, and yeah, playing the strategy game somewhat.
Yes, indeed. We have actually got Sterling in from P1 in the pits, Wazza in P2, or maybe McCutcheon's in P1 actually provisionally, because I think the leaderboard will change hands very shortly. There we go. So yeah, McCutcheon is provisionally the pole sitter with Sterling, Wazza in the pits. In fact, Sterling just coming out now. So we'll see where he comes out. I think he's in P3 because I'm pretty sure Ethan Hadley has stayed out to claim that P2 for now. Yeah, Craven's still in the pits. Mornveg still in the pits. Townsend would have gone up into P4, I think, because Sterling... No, he's not. Yeah. Townsend's in P3, Sterling in P4.
Yeah, they're all shuffling around at the moment.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously the drivers that have not pit so far, McCutcheon, Hadley, Townsend, Trotman in the top 4. Sterling resumes the circuit in P5. Then we've got Wazza in P6. No, Clark in P6. Wazza in P7. Yeah, Wazza all over the back of Michael Clark, though. So that is very interesting. And,
this is effectively for P1, this battle.
This is for
P2, sorry.
P2, yeah, because actually Sterling has made the undercut on Clark. Clark was winning, wasn't he?
Yes, it does look like the undercut has worked a treat. He has gained about 5 or 6 seconds on Clark. We're going to have to see if his tyres will last to the end of the race now. Indeed,
so, Sterling may have pulled a blinder here, guys. He has got a comfortable lead, which will eventually be P1 if he doesn't make a mistake. So, obviously P5, 6 and 7 pretty close together. The leaderboard seems to have mucked up a bit because it's definitely... closer
than Craven with drive-through.
Oh, there we go. We was alluding to that earlier in the race, how easy it is to pick up track limit penalties. Well, there you go. Craven with the drive-through penalty. That is very, very costly at this stage of the race.
Absolutely. It's our second driver with a drive-through, Naismith being the other one, and I believe he has served that. I don't know if he has pitted for fresh tyres and fuel as of yet.
Well, interestingly, we've got Ethan Hadley in the pits now and Townsend, both gone into the pits. McCutcheon has stayed out, though. Quite interestingly, we're over halfway through the race, so perhaps trying to prepare for a faster stint to the end of the race, maybe.
Absolutely. It does look like McCutcheon is going with a more unique strategy, going longer on the set of tyres. Maybe hoping for a bit of clear air after a pit stop and or some fresher tyres at the end.
Yes, well, we'll see how it pans out for him. He may be I can't see from the Delta, but he may be losing a little bit of time on this stint, so may fall a bit further behind, but then might be able to close the gap in the final laps where his tyres are actually a lot better than the front runners. So we'll have to see what happens, but currently out there at the moment. I just wonder if he does pit at the end of this lap.
I would imagine so. I mean, it's any further is suboptimal in terms of outright pace, and you want to use the freshest part of the tyre for the longest. So we all have to keep an eye on McCutcheon, who is 40 seconds in the lead at the moment, but that will obviously evaporate with the pit stop.
Well, McCutcheon is in from P1, so he has dived into the pits. Trotman does stay out, though, so we'll see what happens with Trotman. Decides to go at least one lap longer, so he will be provisionally the race leader at the moment. The gap between Sterling and Clark has extended, but Wazza doing a fantastic job just behind. He has really closed that gap and putting Clark under all sorts of pressure right now as we go through the triple right-hander. Clark goes a little bit wide out of the final triple right-hander.
Yeah, you can see Clark is going all sorts of defensive on a lot of corners where there's not a massive chance. He needs to settle down a little bit and try and get a better exit rather than defending the corner too early, because it's just allowing Wazza to catch up and just sit on the back.
Indeed, unfortunately for Wazza there, got a little bit too much of the curb on the apex of turn 20, so did lose slightly, but then closes right in on Clark. Clark quite slow through the hairpin there. Wazza gets the optimal line through that corner, closes right in to the back of Clark as we go through this twisty section. We have, I think that is a back marker, I believe.
I believe that is probably Van der Waal, if it were coming up in order.
Just trying to have a look at the number. Can't quite see it, but yeah, this could come into play with Wazza. Of course, the back marker will have to pull to the side at the earliest convenience, and
that is a little bit in the way. That is going to create an opportunity for Wazza.
He does move to the side now, but no, actually, Clark gets a good exit out of the hairpin there. Wazza will be in the slipstream of Clark, but it won't be enough to make a move for this hairpin coming up now. So Clark does go a bit deep. He did go a little bit deep, Luke, and Wazza will close that gap. He's all over the back bumper now.
This section, it's very difficult to pass in here, but you can be a little bit cheeky and launch up the inside, but it's going to be a risky move.
Yeah, they are literally neck and neck as we go through the triple right-hander now.
With this action, with Clark defending, Sterling is taking off down the road. The gap's now up to 5.5 seconds.
Yes, indeed. That is the trouble of fighting. You do lose so much time before you know it. You know, you're sort of out of reach of the car in front. But, you know, for us viewers, very, very exciting. And, yeah, I don't know if Wazza fancies his chances of going up the inside here as we approach turn 1. He sort of weaves to the left, maybe shows Clark that, you know what, mate, I'm right there, watch out. But yeah, look at him now, all over the back bumper of Clark again. This is a very, very interesting battle. Very hard to call what's going to happen here, Luke.
Absolutely. And we have another drive-through for Mornweg. Has Craven picked up another drive-through penalty? Possibly, I don't think he's served his penalty.
No, he's just diving in now, so I think he's serving it now. Mornweg in the pits as well, so both taking their penalties. So that will definitely cost them a lot of positions in this race. We've got 21 minutes left in this 60-minute race here at COTA. So, it's very punishing penalty, of course.
Absolutely. 2/3 true. It looks like the penalty is becoming a little more prevalent now. People are racking up the odd little track excursion, and it's now they're dealing out penalties. The stewards are taking no prisoners on this one.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, with 20 minutes left, this race is definitely not over. We've got Wazza 3 tenths down on Clark. Yes, there is quite a gap to Sterling, but Sterling will have to be aware that yes, it is easy to cut track limits on here. So he, whilst putting the hammer down, obviously being as careful as possible too. So we'll see what happens, but these Clark and Wazza neck and neck, fighting for P2. We'll see what happens very shortly. Sorry, Luke.
From Sterling to Clark, it's come down by about 0.8 of a second to a second. So they're starting to reel in Sterling a little bit. So the race is definitely not over. Oh, and Salsa is 1/10 of a second away from McCutcheon in P45.
Yes, well spotted there, Luke. So, all over the back of him. Didn't feel like making a move for the final corner, but of course we'll have an excellent opportunity on lap 19 to maybe make a move at turn 1. We'll see what happens here, but it...
The brake.
Oh, Sousa, was he deep on the brakes? A little bit.
Yep. McCutcheon.
Sorry, McCutcheon, not Sousa. Sorry, my bad. Yes, McCutcheon under all sorts of pressure from Sousa now. Oh my God, he goes a little bit wide, and there's nearly contact. Sousa just about pulls out of it. Nearly came to blows there, Luke. I feared there was going to be a big accident, but Sousa just about managed to get on the brakes in time.
Absolutely, Sean. Sousa showing a lot of racecraft and being aware of what is going on, if going very wide on the track. But yeah, showing awareness and not colliding with McCutcheon, who appears to be struggling at this point in time.
Which is quite strange as well, because he did actually pit a lot later, didn't he? We was thinking, okay, maybe, you know, his tyres will be in better shape compared to the others around that actually pitted quite a bit earlier than him. But actually it's him that is actually struggling right now.
It could be to do with the track temperature. It might take longer for the tyres to come in.
McCutcheon's gone deep! McCutcheon's gone really deep, and Sousa up the inside here.
Opportunity.
Surely he's going to make the move. I think he has. Yes, he has. Sousa up the inside. McCutcheon will try one on the cutback on the inside of the left-hander. And, yes, to be fair, McCutcheon gave Sousa a lot of respect there. And Sousa does make the move stick in the end. Sousa up into P4. McCutcheon will try and fight it. But it's looking like Sousa has got that P4 now.
Yep, good clean racing there. Good positioning, cut back after a mistake from McCutcheon, and Sousa's up from P7 on the grid. Now running, hopefully P4 when all the sectors sort themselves out. Yes, P4.
Yep.
So that is 3 places up and good running there from Sousa.
We've missed something here as well, Luke, because Wazza in P2? I thought, no. He was behind, wasn't he, Clark?
Yeah, Clark has made a mistake. So, yeah, Clark has dropped effectively 2 places since his pit stop.
There you go. So, as we said, anything can happen. That does mean, though, Sterling has developed a bit of or extended a bit more of a gap to the sort of second and third position. It is now 5.3 seconds to Wazza, who now resides in P2. Clark is 1.2 seconds behind Wazza in P3.
Absolutely, and with under 17 minutes left to go, Wazza's going to have to put the chase on and try and catch Sterling. He's, I believe, got some of the older sets of tyres out there, so we're going to see how that unfolds in the final 15 or so minutes.
Yes, indeed, we will. We are back on board with McCutcheon, because that gap between himself and Sousa is still within half a second. So yeah, this battle for P4 is still going on. It is definitely not over. McCutcheon is not the type to give up, and proof is in the pudding here.
Absolutely. And in qualifying, they were only 0.6 of a second apart, so it's a fairly close match. I don't imagine Sousa's going to run away with this. It's going to be a fight to the end.
Indeed. We'll just have a look at a few of the other battles that are on track at the moment. So we have got Moornweg, that is not too far behind Jorge in P12. He tries a different line to see if he can make a little bit of a cutback, but
super high line though.
It didn't really make a difference there. The gap is still roughly about the same, but as we have seen quite a lot now, Luke, it only takes one mistake, isn't it? So
Fortunately so. But so far, good clean racing from most drivers out there. We haven't seen much in the way of contact. But now it's the time, if they've got any tyres left, to push for it and get as many positions as they can. Every position is points in this championship.
Well, interestingly, Moornweg looks the more composed driver out of Jorge and himself, P12 and P13. Jorge, a couple of times gone a little bit wide in the turns, although I'll just Maybe I've cursed Mornveg a little bit there because he's gone wide out of 2 of the turns here, and that is not going to be helping this cause.
Yeah, that was the IndyCar line for you there. Well, it's worth saying that Mornveg has served a drive-through penalty, so was running a lot higher. But we're going to see if Mornveg can climb back up a little bit. Worth saying that Prentice, who was involved in a first lap incident in a very early pit stop, is up to P11.
Luke, I've got to say, I think Clark has made a mistake because he is down in P7.
Oh, wow. So he's dropped effectively from P1 in this race, and he's dropped about 20 seconds worth of that. Yeah, there's an incident there somewhere.
I just wonder with Clark whether, obviously it's very possible to get your tyre pressures wrong when you make your pit stop. Obviously with a very hot track, 33 degrees track temperature. So, it could be possible maybe his tyres have overheated as well.
It's entirely possible, overheated or underheated. It's like driving on ice.
Yes, indeed.
So, and going through a lot of these twisty corners, particularly with the rear tyres, if you spin them up, it's a never-ending cycle of heat into the tyres and less grip. So that could be, that could lead into a spin or another incident. That is unlucky for Clark. He's now got Ethan Hadley on his back as well, only a couple of seconds behind.
Yes, indeed. Now, I'm riding aboard with Prentice. Now, Prentice, I've got a story for you for this driver that we're on board with now. So, last week at Brands Hatch, it was a big downpour, and Prentice didn't qualify, and so I think he started something like P24 or something like that. In that same race, he ended up in P3. In rainy conditions. It's worth noting as well that this driver is on a controller as well. So,
good effort.
Yeah, fantastic effort from Prentice, and he's definitely capable of some fantastic racing. Actually, last week in Taco Tuesday, he was involved in a battle, one of the best battles I've ever seen on this game. It was truly phenomenal. So I know the pedigree of Prentice and what great racing he can put on. So he's currently in P11 at the moment, not too far from the back of Trotman. He has been, he's starting to close that gap as we exit the S's. And this is a man I think I should be nicknaming the Wasp, because he literally doesn't leave you alone. And whatever opportunity he gets, he will always make the effort to see if he can make that opportunity stick. Well, in saying that, Trotman goes very wide out of the hairpin. Prentice is going to be all over the back of Trotman. It is.
He wants that nectar.
He does indeed, and it is Lamborghini against Ferrari. What car is going to come out on top here? We'll have to wait and see.
Very early.
Oh, he does, and he cuts across as well.
Trotman defensive, very defensive cutback.
Indeed, and that is only slowing him down. Prentice took his normal line. It looked like Trotman going a little bit wide out of that exit.
He's feeling the pressure.
Yeah, definitely feeling that pressure as we come up to this left hand. He goes over the sausage there. That's not going to help his cause.
This is a matter of time if Trotman doesn't settle down. And we also have Clark on the back of Naisbitt for P6. Obviously, this is the more thrilling battle at the moment. You can see Prentice, who's struggling with the back end of that car in the turbulence of the Lamborghini.
Oh, he goes wide as well. Goes wide out the penultimate corner. So unlucky there from Prentice. He's not going to give up, of course. We've got 10 minutes left of the race as darkness does ascend onto the circuit.
P7. You have to see P6, P7. Only 3 attempts.
Yep, thank you, Luke. Yeah, so we're on board with Clark then. 3 attempts on Naisbitt from P6. It's looking decidedly close between the pair of them. I think Naisbitt got a better exit out of that corner though, so Clark may have lost a few attempts, but as we come up to the hairpin, this is a very, very important corner that sets you up for the straight. We can see all the strobe lights in the background as well. This track looking very pretty at night.
Yeah, the gig's starting back there. They're starting the after party 10 minutes early.
Yeah. Maybe some of us will join the revellers after the race.
We have Spanu down in P18, half a second behind Palmer as well.
Okay.
Spanu was an early mover who's obviously now fallen down quite far.
We will get on to some of the other battles very shortly. I kind of feel like I need to stay on board with the battle between Clark and Naisbitt because that gap has come down. He's getting very close to the back. Although Trotman, I see another battle, and we got Trotman just behind Prentice. So actually, Prentice did the move on Trotman.
He's done it down into that big stop down to, I think, turn 12 after the long straight, and now through the U-bend as it's known, and he's done it.
Fantastic work. I mean, slight mistiming for me, but what was we supposed to do? You know, there's so many battles on circuit. It is literally potluck when which battle we stay on board with. So
P17, P18, 2 temps apart.
Okay, let's have a look at Spanu then. So Spanu on Palmer. It is Ferrari against AMG. Oh yeah, a little bit wide. He's going to lose that gap, unfortunately. Is there anyone else as well? Because Trotman is still on the back of Prentice. So he's not going to give up. He's not going to give up at all. And we have still got Clark on Naisbitt as well, but that gap has extended somewhat since. So we'll go back on board with Trotman then.
Yeah, he was going to try and take the position back. He's got to stay tight for this Silverstone-like section. But he's obviously struggling with that rear end.
Did go a little bit sideways, didn't it?
Yeah. And this is the tricky bit, trying to get a good launch down into the hairpin. And then it's going to be
he's lost
down
it.
into the long straight. Yeah.
He's lost that rear, so looks like Prentice can now breathe a sigh of relief. And
P18 again, less than a tenth away. But there's a couple of good battles around here today.
Indeed, as we do approach the closing stages of round 4 at COTA, 7 minutes remaining. This is the business end of the race. We'll see how it counts for the drivers here, but Spanu doing an excellent job closing in.
Yeah, we have a Wazza666 in the chat saying great racing tonight, lads. I hope that's not our driver on track doing double duty.
I was thinking, how is he doing that? That's some alien technology there from Wazza, if that is you, mate.
Moved down to
Oh,
C1.
yes, you're right, and he gives him the space. I think if he had have got early on the gas there, he may have gone into Palmer, so loses a little bit of time there. But still all over the back of Palmer. Closing as well as we go through the S's.
Yep. I'm trying not to say Palmer Karma at this point to quote Fernando Alonso. But we're going to see what happens when we get down into the hairpin, because they're taking very different lines. Spanu's just got to keep it tight going down to this hairpin, and then it's a lunge down before the main straight, the back straight rather.
Yes, indeed. And Spanu's going to take the inside then of Palmer, because Palmer went wide over the sausage. They are side by side. Let's get the appropriate camera on.
He's on the left.
Yes, Palmer on the left makes the move stick. Then, sorry, I'm looking at the. Yeah, sorry, it was Spanu. On the left. Palmer was the one that made the mistake. It was inevitable that Ferrari may be quicker in a straight line than that AMG as well. Finally gets the move done. So we've also got Clark and Naisbitt pretty close together. In fact, that might be a lapped car in front, actually.
I believe so. Yeah, that is a McLaren. and most of the McLarens in there are in the back three at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
Two, sorry.
That's not him. But what I will say is I will go back on board with them. But McCutcheon...
The McLaren is getting in the way. That McLaren is really in the way there.
Indeed he is. Yeah, he should have been moving out of the way there, to be honest.
That is so into blue flag territory. That's silly.
Yes, indeed.
And that might even be a drive-through for going that far off the track.
So that does mean that Clark should be a little bit closer to the back of him, I think.
Yeah, I would have expected Clark to be a little bit closer after that, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It does look like Clark is not enjoying this stint.
Right.
With only 4 minutes to go, it's only a matter of 2 to 3 laps remaining.
That is very true. Yes, you are correct there, Luke. Yeah, I think about 2 laps. McCutcheon, meanwhile, very close to the back of Sousa.
Absolutely, and as we know from qualifying, McCutcheon is super fast and the fastest in qualifying in the final sector. So if the move's going to come, it's going to be towards the end of the lap, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed. Well, it seems like his tyres have started to work in these final stages. Perhaps maybe Sousa's tyres are a little bit worse for wear. McCutcheon applying that pressure on Sousa. Can Sousa withstand the pressure from McCutcheon? We'll see how it pans out, but there is going to be, in fact, there's going to be 2 laps after this lap, Luke.
Yeah, I believe so. And at the moment, this is the battle for the final podium spot. Woz is too far out ahead of these two, and Sterling ahead of that. So this is going to be the battle on track for the big points up for play. Yes, indeed. But then McCutcheon makes the mistake. He sausage curbs. That's fine.
He got too much of the apex, and that unsettled the car. And I'm not saying it's over, but it's looking likely that I will shut up. So we're very deep out of turn 1 there. So where it looked like Sousa was going to pull away, it is race back on as we go through the S's. So I think the gap is going to be roughly how it was, roughly about 6 or 7 tenths.
Yeah, it seems like they're both making equal mistakes. If McCutcheon wants to get past, it needs to be clean as anything, and then it's just trying to force another mistake from Sousa there.
Yes, indeed. So don't think there's any other battles on track of what I can see at the moment. It looks like it's all kind of spread out a little bit. Prentice has extended the gap between himself and Trotman to 2 seconds. Townsend still in P9, doing an excellent job there, with Ethan Hadley in P8 as well. So fantastic racing from the pair of them there.
Absolutely. Pair of them up for P15, P14 respectively. I think they've been the big movers in this race.
Yes, indeed. We are back on board with McCutcheon then, because that gap is not a second, it's more like 2 tenths or something.
Absolutely. 1 minute to go.
1 minute to go. Timer. Yes, so pit window.
Yep, pit window's closed.
Yep. So there will be 1 more lap after this.
And it's not over yet. P3 is still also very much up for grabs. McCutcheon's taking armfuls of curb and unfortunately clattering a lot of the sausage curbs on the way through. That wouldn't be very good for the bottom of the car. Indeed.
So we'll just quickly go on board with Sterling, because he's leading the race at the moment on lap 28. We got Wazar in P2, 8 seconds adrift of him, doing an excellent job there in P2. Then we've got Sousa in P3, McCutcheon just behind in P4. Makowski is a further 19 seconds behind in P5. Naisbitt in P6, Clark P7, Ethan Hadley P8, Townsend P9, and Prentice in P10. But we will stay on board with the fight for P3 at the moment.
Yeah, that looks to be the only battle on track. Everyone else is a little bit more spaced out. To 2 to 8 seconds, if not more, in some places.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, this is the battle on track as the timer is now elapsing.
It has elapsed. You are quite correct there. So definitely confirmed last lap of the race. And both get a good exit, to be fair.
Yep.
I will keep an eye on the leader because we will need to cut to him before he crosses the line to claim the checkered flag. So it's looking like McCutcheon, though, yeah, maybe lost a little bit of time on the exit of the first chicane. Sorry, the second hairpin, sorry. So he's very, very close, but we're going to have to cut to the leader because he is just about to get around the final turn. So Sterling will win race 4 at the Kota Taco Tuesday Tier 2. Congratulations to Sterling, and Wazza claims P2. So congratulations to Wazza. Then we got Souza in P3, McCutcheon in P4, still battling away. It's looking like it's Souza's podium though.
Cracking race from Souza, up from P7.
Yeah, fantastic.
Earned this podium.
Fantastic from the pair of them. So last podium position goes to Souza, McCutcheon in P4, and then we've got Makowski in P5. Yeah, it's looking like Makowski is on his own here. So Makowski will claim the P5. That's an excellent result still, and I do believe he did jump up a few positions after having a bit of a... I think he had a bit of a nightmare start, didn't he, Luke?
He definitely had a bit of an interesting start. He started P6, he's obviously worked his way back up again, but good recovery there.
Indeed, and then Naisbitt gets a P6 with Clark over the line in P7. Elizabeth Eaton Hadley gets P8, so a fantastic result for her with Dazza Townsend just coming across the final corner to claim P9, and then Prentice will round up the top 10. So congratulations to Prentice with Trotman in P11. Craven, who lost many positions in the end, in P12.
Yep, and after starting P4, so that is a bit of a fall from grace on that one.
Indeed. And then Morveg, I think that's how you pronounce it, comes across the line in P13.
Oh, don't crash.
Yes. And that is the end of the session. So we will confirm... Or in fact, we can't confirm it is a provisional race finish because there could be tickets going into the steward's office if there was any. I don't know what the word is, Luke.
Investigations or complaints, perhaps.
That's it. Yes. So let's just give you the provisional race results. So Sterling gets the race win in the BMW M4. Congratulations to Sterling, with Wazza getting P2 in the Ferrari 296. Then Souza gets the last podium position in P3 in the McLaren 720S. McCutcheon gets P4. Makowski gets P5. Then it's Naisbitt in P6. Clark in P7. Eaton Hadley in P8. Dazza Townsend in P9 with Prentice in the top 10. Then we got Trotman in P11, Craven in P12, Mulmveg in P13, Jorge in P14, Strozinski in P15, Van Uffel in P16, Spanu in P17, Palmer in 18, Callaghan in 19, Van der Waal in P20, and Blair in P21. I think it's 2 DNFs actually at the back there, so fantastic race, Luke.
Looks like, yeah, absolutely. We have Dazza in the chat, Townsend, who has gone, and he was absolutely buzzing, P14 to P9, and you must have had a cracking race in that one. We were watching you, and we enjoyed it. I hope you deserve all of that adrenaline.
Indeed, and I think my game's crashed, you know.
Timing. Well, it was a definitely good race. Lots of good on-track action, and from what we saw, lots of clean action. If a couple of mistakes, but it's to be expected when you're under pressure.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Was there anything else that we missed in chat, by the way, Luke?
Lots of support for Wazza. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
obviously came over P2 today, so obviously the chat are loving that.
I love that comment there. Wazza is king. He eats nails for lunch.
Hopefully it means iron nails.
Yeah,
Keep your iron up.
sounds like he is a man of steel, isn't he?
He had the magnet for P2 today, so he's definitely done well.
Oh, fantastic result for him. I will just quickly bring up the highlights if it allows me to. Did it save? I think that is it here. Let's hope so. Yeah, so congratulations, Dazza, on that P9. Absolute fantastic to see from you. And obviously a relief for you drivers as well. You know, after round 3 at Brands Hatch, you know, a very rainy circuit here, completely bone dry. Yes, okay, quite hot, maybe not so good for the tyres, but still pretty good conditions for driving, in my opinion.
Absolutely, bit hot, bit interesting, but the drivers managed it quite well and gave us a good show.
Definitely, for sure. So, yeah, we just got to say, basically, congratulations to the podium runners, and I've forgotten who P1. Who was P1?
We'll bring up the...
Sterling, wasn't it? Sterling?
Sterling was P1, then it was Wazza, and then it was Sousa.
Ah, yes, that's it. Thank you. So congratulations to the podium people. Obviously, congratulations to everyone that stayed out on track and provided us some great racing action. Yeah, before we go, actually, guys, we do need to tell you what's coming up in next week's races. So just bear with me. There we go. So next week we are going back over to the UK to go to Donington Park. Absolute fantastic race course. You know, more famous for the BTCC races. They're always cracking races. That is on next Tuesday, August the 15th. Same time applies. 8:20 p.m. BST time, and yeah, should be an absolute cracking race. As I said, I think it's a 60-minute race again, but yeah, hope to see you there for the coverage of Donington Park next week, chat, and yeah, hope to see the drivers, of course. Just trying to think if there's any other information I've forgotten, but obviously we have to say thank you to the sponsors for for today's race. Of course, FRL as well. Without FRL, this wouldn't be happening. So thank you very much, and then of course to chat. Really appreciated your company. I may have forgotten to say thank you for the follow to JM Court as well. Much appreciated. FRL 100% will thank you for that. And oh yeah, and Pedro, driver of the day. Luke, any ideas on driver of the day?
Oh, well, that is a tough question. I've kind of got two or three choices. We've got Ethan Hadley, who's gone up from P9, I think, ended P7, I think it was. So yeah, who's shot up through the ranks. But I think we almost have to give it to Sterling, and excuse the pun, but for a Sterling performance, who undercut the rest of the field, stayed out of all the fights, and just walked away with it in the end. So it's between the two for me, but on the sheer amount of positions, I am very tempted to go for Ethan Hadley.
Yeah, I second that, to be honest, Luke. Like starting from P15, the sort of back half of the grid, you would almost expect to sort of stay in the midfield battle, but actually getting into the top 10, in fact, top 7, absolutely fantastic from her, obviously congratulations to Sterling, and it was a great undercut, but I think Elizabeth Eaton Hadley is my driver of the day, I think.
Yeah, just for the show of racecraft and the patience in the passing, I think that's a good shout on that one.
And Sarah agrees as well, so that is confirmed now. She did very, very well. Yeah, should be very, very proud. She should be very, very proud of her performance. Guys, it's been an absolute fantastic broadcast. This was the first broadcast on this new channel, Formula Racing League TV 2. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you alongside me, Luke. I hope you enjoyed your experience.
Absolutely. I have to say thank you to Sean for making it as easy as possible, especially given the technical difficulties.
Yes.
Yeah, big shout out to Raven as well.
Indeed.
So, thanks to FRL, the sponsors, and the rest of the organisers, and particularly the drivers who don't get enough love in this, who put on a great show. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, definitely kept us on our toes, on the edge of our seat. It was an absolute fantastic race and an absolute privilege as well. Of course, thank you to the chat. Hope to see you next week, Tuesday the 15th.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, for Taco Tuesday, of course, Tier 2. Hopefully everyone has a great week. Also, myself commentating on the Sprint Sunday series. That will be on the Sunday at 7... what is it? I forgot now. 7:30 p.m. British Summer Time. That is on the Formula Racing League TV _PS5 channel. So look out for that as well. I'll probably post a link in Discord or something like that. But for myself and Luke, it's goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
See you for the next race for Taco Tuesday.
Take care, everyone. Good night to you all.